Hello and welcome to REGO-FIX Tech Chat. My name is David McHenry. I am the Engineering and Technical Manager here at REGO-FIX USA. One of the main things we find people do with ER tool holders or even powRgrip tool holders is they have a need for longer reach. Now, we have our wide range of XL tool holders that are available in our catalog, but sometimes I don't have the need for a permanent long extension assembly, and I want to put something together that I can take apart and use the pieces as needed. So today, let's look at that in an ER assembly. What we are going to do is we're going to take two extensions, two regular ER collets, and two Cat 40 tool holders, put our assemblies together and just see how close they are together, just to give an idea of what you can expect from the REGO-FIX repeatability. We've brought everything over to the workbench and the Torque block, so we are going to take and assemble our two assemblies, both Cat 40 holders, ER32 3/4 inch collets, a couple extensions, and a couple carbide blanks to see what kind of assembly TIR we can expect over two different assemblies. Let's go ahead and start with the Cat 40 Plus. So this is the big Plus tool holder. Go ahead and put that in. And this is ER32. So I'm going to grab my ER32 Torque block ring, and I'm going to put that onto the tool holder, assemble my collet properly into the nut, and pick one of my extensions to go in. I want this to be about 5 inches out just as a reference mark, so I'm gonna get pretty close, snug it up by hand. We aren't going for perfection on identical gauge lengths, but just getting it close. Go ahead and grab my ER32 wrench and set my value on the Torque block. Boom. So let's set this assembly aside and move on and do the regular cat holder, because I want to measure where's my TIR at with just this portion of the assembly. So let's do the next one. My regular cat holder, put that in. I'm going to grab my collet and nut. And about that same 5-inch projection. And torque this down to spec. All right, let's see how these measure. We have our partial assemblies ready here. So what we have is we have our cat holders and we have our extensions in these. And we are going to measure what the first part of the assembly actually measures for TIR as we stack it up for our full assembly. So this is the regular Cat 40 holder, not the Plus holder. Go ahead and put that into our spindle, give it a quick turn to seat it. And we are measuring about 50 millimeters from the face of the ER collet. So we are looking at, with the plus and minuses, probably right around 4.5 microns, so not that bad for this assembly. Again, a Cat 40 holder, 3/4 inch extension with a regular collet. It's not even a UP collet or an MR collet, just a normal collet. So really, really good with that one. Our second assembly is the Plus holder with the same size extension and the same size collet and type of collet. Put that in. Give it a turn to seat, and we are running right about the same, about 3.5 to 4 microns. So really, really good assemblies. They're coming out almost identical, so this ought to be a good show for consistency. We are back over at our Torque block. We are about ready to assemble our mini nuts on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the indicator ring for the ER16 Mini. I'm going to go ahead and put that in place, set my indicator where it needs to go. Now this is our Cat Plus holder, so I'm going to go back and put our regular style mini nut on this assembly. So I've already assembled our collet into the nut. I have my ground carbide pin, or I should say just carbide blank I'm going to thread this on, just maintaining a good distance of extension to measure off of out the top. I'm going to grab my regular mini nut wrench, and I'm just going to tighten this right to spec. Well, and there it is. Really simple to measure that. So I'm going to set this one aside, and we are going to move on to our regular Cat 40 holder. And on this one, I'm going to put the MX style nut on. So I already have this one pre-assembled as well, just making it nice and easy for this portion of the video. I'm going to thread this right on. Make sure we're not bottoming it out on anything inside. I'm going to grab my MX wrench and give it a nice snug. So now let's move over to the zero spindle and take some final measurements. Okay, we have our tools fully assembled now. We've moved over to our zero spindle, and we are going to use that with our digital indicator to measure the final TIR on the gauge pins here at the top. Now just a reminder, these are just carbide blanks. They're not precision gauge pins, so they are what they are, but I think they gave us some pretty good numbers. We'll show you this here. Go ahead and put it in. I'm going to give it a couple quick turns. Now this is the regular Cat 40 holder with the MX style nut on the top. It's a 1/4 inch pin, and once we've seated, we start turning it here. It looks like we are running right around 9 microns, so really not that bad. Remember, considering that a regular ER collet is called out at 10 microns, we have 2 ER collets and 2 tool holders and a gauge pin all under the specification that we call out for a normal collet. So this is assembly number 1. Let's go ahead and switch over to assembly 2. Now assembly 2, again, is still just a regular carbide pin. This has the regular mini nut, but this is a Cat Plus 40 tool holder. Gauge lengths are pretty similar. I'm gonna go ahead and set this and turn it to get it set. And let's see what we get for TIR. So right about that 10.5 microns. Again, very, very good results considering 2 tool holders, 2 collets, and just a plain carbide pin. The whole idea here is we took 2 assemblies, we set them up, and they were within 1 micron of each other, so a really good result for the assemblies we have here today. We've gone through our 2 different assemblies, and we've been able to show you just how repeatable those assemblies can be. Looking at a micron and a half difference between 2 different tool holders, 2 different extensions, 4 different collets, and just some basic generic carbide pins. Pretty good results. If you have any questions at all about stacking up tooling, the different ways you can do that, our XL line, please reach out to your REGO-FIX technical team. We are here to help.